Hey everyone, I'm back and I wanted to say thanks in advance for taking the time to watch this video. Whether it's just to get caught up, see what my side of things are, see why I took down the last video, or you just want to find out what the heck has been going on. Before we get started, I just want to warn that I am not going to tolerate any hate towards myself or anyone else after I post this video. Everyone is entitled to their own opinions, but just because you're passionate about something does not give you the right to be a jerk. This is just one of the reasons that I've chosen to not individually respond to the comments on my last video or social media posts. And please don't be surprised if I don't comment on the subject anymore after this point. So for those of you who are only here because you saw a notification pop up and you're wondering, hey, what's Jen checking out today? Well, the answer is nothing. This is going to be a follow-up to what actually happened regarding my BJD post, which you may have noticed has been removed. So if you're not really here for that, no worries, I'm not offended. You shouldn't be. I love you anyway, and we'll see you in the next video because everything should be back to normal. As for those who are here to see what happened, I'm going to give you the full breakdown. I received an email in early October from a company called China BJD, and because of everything I was going through at the time with YouTube and my channel as a whole, I opened the email, quickly read the title, and didn't feel comfortable accepting something so expensive, so I closed it again. I knew that BJDs were expensive because you guys have mentioned this several times over the years as you've requested reviews. Between the photos you guys have shared with me and the posts that pop up in my Instagram feed, I fell in love with the look of BJDs and knew that I'd like to own one eventually. Later that evening, I decided to accept their offer because I knew you guys had waited for this review for ages, and I thought that this would be the perfect opportunity. When the doll arrived a few weeks later, I took the package and literally put it on a shelf until I was ready to touch it, because I was nervous. And I know the BJD community is really big and they know their stuff, and honestly it was overwhelming and I wasn't ready. So when I say I've had it for months, it was basically the second or last day of October till last week. So last Friday morning I decided I had put it off, and if I didn't do the review soon, I really wasn't going to get a chance to before the end of December, and ta-da! We made a review. Within minutes of posting my video, I was being attacked by tons of people who were making all sorts of accusations and negative comments about how I'm such a horrible person, I need to remove my video, I should remove my channel. And it was so strange because I was seeing the same things over and over, like almost word for word. It's almost like if this situation arises, there's a set script that you need to copy and paste and spam everything with hate until you get your point across. Now, although you guys may have only seen the comments underneath the video, I was getting them there, on Twitter, on Instagram, in posts, stories, and private messages, and even by email. So at this point, I didn't know how to respond because they were making me feel horrible, and I felt that if I were to respond, it would validate the terrible comments they were saying. I also didn't want people to think that if they treated me badly enough, they'd be able to get a rise out of me, because that's what bullies do, plain and simple. They attack you with terrible messages which get worse and worse and worse until you have absolutely no choice but to respond. They gang up on you, telling you the same thing over and over and over until you start to think that maybe they're right. Maybe I did do something wrong. And leaving that video up was giving them more and more opportunities to attack me without me being able to say anything back. So I took it down. And although it took me way too long, probably, I was finally able to put myself together enough to explain my side of what happened. Last Friday morning, I went in my studio, clicked on the camera, and started the unboxing. And I was genuinely interested to see what the doll would be like because this was my first BJD experience and I was actually excited. When I finished filming the intro, I looked up the website for the first time, and that's when I found out that the doll was a recast. And although I mentioned in the video that I knew she was a recast, which I found out like 20 seconds previous, I honestly believed that the artist made only a certain amount of the handmade dolls, and that after that you'd only be able to get recasts of the original. Sort of like a reproduction vintage Barbie. I thought that after the first handmade run was over, a partner helps to create recasts and that the sales are divided. And the only reason I even knew there was a recast versus original problem is that I had seen comments on previous videos vaguely warning me that recasts were looked at negatively. I didn't do any more looking into it because I really didn't want my opinion to be altered by the opinions of others. I always try to avoid researching as much as possible so that I can have an unbiased view of the item that I'm looking at. And usually this works out fine for me because I work with large established companies and respected brands. I have been trying to branch out and review new things for you guys that I think you might find interesting, but I haven't really switched up the original way that I do things. I honestly only even looked at that page right then to learn how to correctly pronounce words and find out my first ideas on pricing. I didn't realize that not breaking down the timing of everything in the video would make it look as though I've had the doll for a long time, knew it was a recast, could have researched it, chose not to, and still did the video, because I didn't. That's not what happened. And because I didn't know that, I continued on with the video and just made sure to mention that I knew there was a problem regarding recasts in the community. And it wasn't until the comments started pouring in that I found out what an actual recast was. But I still believe that my video was acceptable because I didn't hide anything. I told the people to do their own research and to seek out the original creators. The context was a little different from what I know now, but the basic video was still the same. Here's an item, it's called a recast, here's everything we've learned about it. Make sure you do your own research if you're interested in becoming part of the BJD community. I wasn't casting judgment or telling people to buy it or not. I took a neutral stance because I didn't know everything about it. Since then, I've been bombarded with negativity like I'd never experienced, so I couldn't think objectively about the video. I felt that if I took it down or changed it in any way, it would be like telling everybody who were saying horrible things about me that they were right. So instead, I just decided to leave it there until I could clear my head. It just dawned on me that not all of you may have seen that video, read some of the comments, or been parts of any of the threads on Instagram, or even know, obviously, what's been sent to me privately. So I guess you'll need to know at least a couple of the things people have been saying, like the promotion of art theft and illegal reproductions. So here's the thing. I never once said, hey, check this doll out, you should go buy her. I just told them my opinions on the different aspects of the doll. I want to make it very clear, I have never promoted things, or at least not in the way you'd think. I mean, I tell people all the time how much I love Moosh Moosh, and suggest that if you like cuddly things, you might like those, but that is my own opinion, and I found them, they talked to me way after. The point is, I have never been paid to promote an item or show it off to you guys because I don't accept those types of things. I do get sent things all the time, but only with the stipulation that they allow me to be honest about any flaws that I might find, and that I'll be able to freely give my opinion, whether good or bad. So some companies have chosen to stop sending things entirely, while others have decided to send more because they find the honesty important. And I always state in my videos as plainly as possible that an item was sent to me, and I did this since the beginning. And I'm always completely honest with my opinion, as well as any flaws or concerns that I have. For example, in the pull-up doll video that I did, I mentioned that I found certain security issues on the sender's website, and they've since emailed us to let us know that they've corrected those issues. And they were happy, because honesty is important, and that's how people find out what they should or shouldn't do, or how to correct things. The truth is, I could make a lot more money if I was unscrupulous and didn't care. I get offers all the time that I turn down because I don't feel comfortable with them. I've been offered various brands of loot crates or loot boxes to promote for you guys where I'll get a portion of each sale, but I don't do that because promoting something and not being able to give my honest opinion just to make money is not what I do. Anyways, we've strayed off topic a bit. So the point is, regardless of what the doll turned out to be, she was still pretty and well made, and for me to have said anything otherwise would have been dishonest. I pointed out flaws and checked the quality just as I would with any other item, whether it's real or fake. Another one I received a lot is that I conveniently didn't comment on the smell, the shoddy workmanship, the colors, or the quality of the doll. So here's the thing that I think is kind of funny. The people that are so adamantly telling me off about how I didn't comment on any of the things that they think the recast should be is very publicly pointing out that they wouldn't even be in the same room as one. They refuse to talk to people who have one, they kick people out of their groups for having one, and they wouldn't dare even look to consider buying one. No matter what the reason is, if you own a recast, you are scum of the earth. Basically. So if they are so against them being in their groups, their vicinity, or anywhere near their being, how would they know what the super negative recast looked, smelt, or felt like? When just the mention of the word recasts can have you banned from their community forever. Had I noticed anything on the doll that would have caused me to be concerned or alarmed in any way, I would have pointed it out to you guys, just as I always have. That doesn't matter if it's a small brand, if it's something I buy myself, or something that I'm sent by a large brand. Point is, the doll had no smell. She didn't feel cheap, she wasn't scratched up or defective. In fact, she was completely fine, other than a few clothing issues, which were all pointed out in the video. Moving on to the next comment or complaint or thing that got screamed at me quite a bit is that I shouldn't have shown this, I shouldn't be talking about it, no one should have any access to this whatsoever. So here's the thing, I'm allowed to give my honest opinion about things even if you don't like them. You don't have to watch. Talking about things is not the danger in this situation. Not talking about things is how people end up buying these dolls more often, because they don't know anything negative about them, they only know that it's a cheaper option. If something is threatening your community and its artists, then talking about the problems will help everyone. If these dolls are such terrible quality versions of the originals, then educate people about them. But not after, when something is accidentally gifted or given or bought. Some some people think that they were buying a real thing. Make it more public beforehand, and maybe let's not make people feel like scum of the earth because they happen to have received a doll. There's usually more going on than what you think is the case. Another thing I've been seeing a lot is that I should feel absolutely ashamed. Why? I didn't promote the company or tell people that they were trustworthy. I literally just looked at a doll. I didn't leave links. I didn't give prices. I just opened my item and reviewed it honestly. And I'm never going to be ashamed for telling people that something exists or what it is. Another one that I get a lot is that I should know better. But the thing is, and you might be surprised to learn this, but I'm a human being. I literally make YouTube videos in my basement showing off different items, anything that's good or bad about them, and let people make up their own minds about whether or not they buy them. What makes me so infallible? Is it that I get viewed by a lot of people? Because that doesn't make you automatically perfect. I have a short amount of time to make a quality video production. I have bills, health issues, car problems, and any other life problems that everybody has. I have to try to juggle all of those things, plus, you know, every other thing that's going on in my life, while still trying to make everybody happy all of the time. Because if I say or do anything wrong, I could lose it all in an instant. You're thinking the life of a YouTuber is easy because you've never done it. Some of you might have, but for the most part, the point of my message, please tell me that you've never done or said anything wrong, ever. I'm not special because I have subscribers. That doesn't mean I should know better just because people watch my videos. That doesn't even make sense. I'm a human being, and I try my very best to not make mistakes or leave anything out, but it's impossible to be perfect all the time. And this is why I don't try to make decisions for people. I look at an item, lay out the facts, and let them make the incisions. No. And let them make the decisions on their own. Honestly, I could keep going for a while. There's a lot here that people now think about me, but instead I'm just gonna skip ahead to why I chose to take down the video. And I'm really sorry, but it's not because of any of the things that you guys have shouted at me. And it's not because I thought I did anything wrong. I took it down because it wasn't necessary anymore. My original intent was to introduce people to BJDs along with me on my first time experience, to let them see what they looked like and what they were all about. And I feel that I accomplished that in a non-perfect way, but in the end I've lost interest entirely in the original premise. I think anything I look at should be both informative and entertaining. And honestly, that video had become nothing but a toxic cesspool for hate comments, and I'm not about to push that on my community. I've always taken pride in our comments section being somewhere that people could come to talk about how they feel, as long as they don't personally attack others. I know that's not entirely possible, but I've tried my best. Leaving that video up promotes interest in BJDs as a whole, which was my original goal, but seeing how negative and toxic a large portion of the community members were about it, with like very little room to explain oneself, I don't really think I could comfortably push people towards that hobby. If you still want to, great. I'm not saying everybody's terrible. I know that the individuals that attacked me aren't representative of the entire BJD community, but the response was enough that I just don't have anything to do with it anymore. I think that the BJD community has a serious problem endangering the growth and the longevity of it. But it's not just fake dolls and counterfeits. It's the toxic mentality of a large group of individuals to attack and bully anyone that doesn't agree with them or isn't as knowledgeable. The dangers of not being able to talk openly is the largest detriment to any community, and it will tear apart any group if given enough time. I hope that the more positive and outgoing members of this community don't take this as a finger pointed at them, because I know that you guys are there, and they help to promote these conversations and are more understanding. These are the people who should be the face of the BJD community, but unfortunately they aren't as vocal or as present as all the negative people, and that gives off an impression of everyone as a whole. I really do love the look and the quality of these dolls, and I hope that the community continues to grow as a whole, but I no longer want to be part of it at all, or open things and show them off to you guys in any way based on this first experience. I do appreciate all the people who were willing to wait before casting judgment to see what my side of things were, and all the people who were willing to defend me until you at least had the full story. You have no idea how much it meant to me to see that people were willing to believe I wasn't all of these horrible things that others were saying, and it helped me to get through one of the most difficult times I've had on YouTube so far, and I am extremely, extremely grateful for that. To the people who tried to bully me or have my video removed and my channel striked for having an opinion, I'm sorry, but you didn't win. YouTube didn't remove it. I took it down myself so that I wouldn't be giving you a platform to continue making false accusations against myself or anyone else who didn't agree with you. You won't change anything by jumping to conclusions, attacking, bullying, or trying to beat someone into submission. It will never be okay to stifle free speech to protect your investment. I will not be bullied, and I will not falter filter because somebody doesn't agree with me. Yes, the video may be gone and you might be happy because you feel like you accomplished something, but I bet you didn't expect the follow-up. As for the rest of my audience, whether you know what's going on or had no clue whatsoever, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you're gonna miss out on what I thought was an informative and honest video. I didn't take removing something that I worked so hard on lightly. I don't ever want someone to think they can make me do anything, but I also refuse to let someone try to force my hand because they think that they're better than me. Moving forward, I will be back to my regular style of video real soon, and I hope you can forgive me for making this one. It's not something that I enjoyed doing, and I don't plan on doing it very much in the future. I honestly didn't even want to be involved in this drama, and I tried to avoid it. I really didn't want to bring my regular audience into it because I hate the negativity, but I couldn't continue to have my name dragged through the mud by people who know nothing about me. If you've stayed with me this long, know that I appreciate every single one of you, and I love the community we've created, and I will always strive to keep it as open and honest as possible. Whether it's my opinion or yours, it should be welcome here, and as long as it doesn't attack or demean someone, I'll do my best to protect it. Honestly, we've had a tough year with all the changes to YouTube and our own channel, and you know, regular life, because that's still a thing outside of this screen. We're always worried about what the next big problem is gonna be. And despite the stress and the emotional toll that we keep on seeming to find, we're not gonna stop. I mean, look at all these super motivational posters keeping me going. By the way, humor does not mean I've turned dark. It means I've accepted a gift and put posters on the wall. I'm just saying. With that, I'm going to sum up this video by saying I've decided BJD stands for something else now, because you know, you need to work through your sadness with a little bit of humor. Now it stands for bruh, just don't. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.